Greetings, grasshoppers. Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to the Bot Signal. I am your host, RJ Redden. Entrepreneurs hire me to rocket launch their marketing message because most are having a heck of a time getting seen and heard online. Most are carbon copy of everybody else's message, and many feel like they're shouting into a black hole. So I create marketing messages that skyrocket engagement, that build relationships, and close sales. Bottom line, you got to get your bot out there. You've got to be bot-tastic in order to sell smarter, not harder. And I am here today to talk about something so very near and dear to my heart. So let's back up a little. There was, you may have heard about this, a little giveaway last week. I know maybe a small birdie told you, or maybe you're within 50 miles of the sound of my voice, which, because we're on the internet, it's everywhere. Maybe you heard about this little JVology giveaway, and maybe some of you here took advantage of that. If you are new to the show, welcome. I am so glad you're here today. We're going to talk about some basic bot stuff. The 3 essential things that you need in order to build a bot. None of them are a PhD in computer science. Hey, by the way, I don't have one of those either. You don't even need a pocket protector to be able to talk about what we're going to talk about on the show today. And it's kind of unexpected, the things that I'm going to talk about, because most of the things that you think that you probably need, you actually don't. Welcome, Joseph Gordon. Glad to see you. Teresa, Lindsay, Tish, Stacy, you guys are the best. Welcome to the show. So glad you're here. So we're going to talk about those essential tools today. What do you absolutely need? And this is in my experience. I've been working on chatbots and absolutely nothing else for 2 years now. Before that, I was a marketing technology coach. So I help people set up social media campaigns, websites, productivity things, whatever people wanted, I would help people do. And it was massively fun, and I had a really great time. But in the end, it was frustrating because a lot of the things that I was setting up, even though people were super smart and they learned what they needed to do and they did a great job maintaining it, a lot of marketing doesn't get results these days. And so that kind of leads into what I'm going to talk about. Oh, Sweden's here. Hey, Liesel. We're going to talk about those 3 essential things that people need, but I also want to talk about some of the problems that modern marketing has. Maybe some of you feel these frustrations. Tough thing about modern marketing is we really think about everything in terms of a funnel. We tend to think of it, and if you've never heard of the marketing funnel, it shaped like this, like all funnels, right? People come in at the top and filter on their way down, and the people down at the bottom, they are the people that are buying your stuff and are huge fans and all of that kind of stuff. It's putting people through a certain process from cold traffic, I don't know you from Adam, never seen you before, to you're my client, my wonderful, beautiful, wonderful client. So a funnel is a process that doesn't usually consist of a whole lot of choices. We're taking the industrialized approach to marketing. We've been doing this forever, right? We've been putting everybody through the same process, and it probably got a lot worse when the internet came around, because now I can put a whole lot more people through a process. And that funnels are fine as far as they go. Absolutely. I mean, they've carried a lot of people to a lot of really wonderful places. The tough thing about them is that there's really not a lot of choices involved. There's not really a yes-no path anywhere. There is only, I've got a whole bunch of people in here. How am I going to get as many of them as possible through that gate at the end? That's the challenge of modern marketing. And I think that in some ways we got that all wrong. And so that is why I would like to say the very first thing that you need you absolutely need to build into your chatbot is choices. I'm going to put that up on a special banner with emojis because that is how important it is. Choices are so super important to have in a bot. Why? Why? It's because that approach, that, mass production approach to marketing is alienating. People have built-in earplugs in. All of your prospects do. It's not because your message isn't right. It's because 98% of the message that they hear, on a daily basis, don't apply to them. They don't apply. And when messages don't apply enough, we begin to assume that most of the things that we hear just aren't important. I was talking to a lady the other day who was reading her email, and she reads about the top subject line every time and then moves on. All that time that you spent writing paragraphs, it's over. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we get really, really fixated on what has worked for other people. We get fixated on the thought that the more people on your list, the better. But we don't think about designing the experience that they have. And we don't think about putting choices in there for people. Catching up on the comments. Funnel is a spiral if it has an open end. Well, spiral on. I love this, John. We're going to have to chat about this. Very good. So adding choices into your bot, how do you do something like that? For me, I always, I'm asking people if they want to give me their email. There's a yes choice and there's a no choice. I don't name them that. I name them something more cool and funky and according to my personality. But what I do is I give people, they get a choice of the things that they want to look at, the things that they want to participate in. We've been treating our marketing as one size fits all, but it's so rarely that the case in the real world. If you build a chatbot that allows people to subscribe to what they want to hear about, if they can learn what they want to learn, on the, there's some choices even on my menu in the bottom of your bot. If you're looking at it on the phone, there are choices on there for me. You can ask me a question, you can schedule me, that kind of a thing. I want to put ever-present choices there for people. And I want to build that into the flow because one size doesn't fit all. I really want to impress upon you the idea that the reason that we are ineffectively, a lot of us, getting seen and heard online is that part of the problem that we're a carbon copy of everybody else. We're using what has worked for everybody else. We're not having conversations anymore with people. We're hoping that if we put the exact right color in that banner and the exact complementary color on that button, or even a weird color on the button, that's more people will click. A bigger percentage will click. We're deciding our entire experience on how many can I get to click. Here's what I want to impress upon you. What if we did it differently? What if we, through messaging, through having conversations with people in our bots, both automated and live chat conversations, which a bot will do, it will hand off seamlessly between both. What if we design conversations where people have choices? What if we design conversations where people can go down different paths? What if they get to define what's valuable to them and then learn about that thing instead of all the 50 other things I got going on? You know what I'm saying? It's a revolutionary idea. It really breaks a lot of people's brains. I'm so glad you're all here today to hear this because it's really a great foundation. It's, if anybody remembers Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid, I know that I do. I know that I would sometimes, if you don't remember those, there were these little books where you'd read about a paragraph or two of information, and then it'd say, if you make this choice, go to this page. If you make this choice, go to this page. I was the kid who always kept my finger in the page, just in case that choice was terrible. Making things like a Choose Your Own Adventure, it allows your folks to explore and discover and find things that they didn't know were there. and have a fun experience through you getting to tell them who you are and what you do. Amazing, right? It's not a one-way conversation anymore. People are putting blinders on for one-way conversations in which I tell you all about who I am and how urgent it is that you click on this thing right now. I don't want to have those conversations anymore with people. It's alienating. People are tired. That's the reason why your chatbot rates are such a huge open rate. That's why. It's because it's different. Because it's a different experience that allows the user to choose. If you think about a normal conversation at a party, if you think about a normal conversation at a networking meeting, it's a little bit from me, and then I ask you a question or I pause, and then it's a little bit from you. It's a trade-off. It's a push-pull situation. Most of our marketing, push, push, push. In fact, some people would like to just beat you over the head. I know nobody here would ever do that, but some people just like to beat you over the head with the same stuff all the time. Hey, how many times have you gotten an email and you've thought to yourself, I am absolutely not interested in this whatsoever? Or, dude, I already bought that thing. Please stop advertising to me about it. How many of us have had those reactions to our email? Or really just I'm just going to close that window and come back to it later. I've had that reaction too. It's not the fact that your emails are written badly. Many of you struggle over writing excellent content for your people. I know this. I know many of you do. The thing is, if we put that content in a little bit different format, in a short and sweet format, if we make sure that it's valuable to people before they hear it, which you can't do in an email. Email is pretty much a lecture. You open it, I'm going to tell you all these things, I'm going to give you an opportunity to click somewhere, and then boom, it's over. I'll send you another one tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's our experience. What if we took that same content, you don't have to make up anything different. What if you transform it into another platform, the way that that platform acts and reacts, which is short and sweet conversation pieces, where you pepper stuff up with images and little GIFs and little pieces of conversation? What if you could give it to your audience in a way that they would lovingly, eagerly consume it? Same information, folks. It's like the baby bird syndrome, right? The mother collects food and does not just go, all right, here y'all go. She does a whole thing where she chews it up and makes it palatable for the baby chicks because they don't have teeth yet. Well, do they ever have teeth? I don't know. I'm not like a birdologist, which is also not a word, but I know this. If you give somebody a chunk that they're not ready for, they may want that chunk. They may need it to survive, but they will never be able to get it down. That's why chatbots. And that is why you add choices in your chatbot. You add a path that has a yes choice, a no choice, or a maybe choice. You give people places to go. You give them little giggles every once in a while. You give them something that is incredibly palatable, something that's fun to engage with, so that when they see your stuff pop up in their messenger inbox one more time, they smile and they think, I wonder what she has to say today, instead of the regular response that we all have to marketing, which is, I'm being sold to. This is alienating and I don't like it. So looking at the comments here, mostly caught up here. Yeah, give me all the choices. Give me all the choices. Make me wander down a path of discovery, because that is so different than what we're getting nowadays. Difference stands out. Difference makes people pay attention. That is what you want. That is what you want to be seen and to be heard in your marketing. Okay, we're off the choice train for a moment. Let's go to another one here. Here's the number 2 factor that your chatbot, if it has this factor, it has an excellent chance of standing out amongst everybody else's messages, and that is this. Well, personality, everybody. little personality. Most emails, a lot of marketing is very business oriented. Do you know what I'm saying? It has, kind of that tone to it. We want to be professional. We want to be awesome. And we want to be all these things. And I totally get it. But when you're on the chatbot platform, when you're on Messenger, or maybe you've got a bot on your site, when you're on those things, it's so much easier and so much better to be friendly, to put some gifs and images in there that make people laugh a little bit. It's not right for every business. Don't get me wrong. I'm not doing the one size fits all in chatbots. But if you give your bot a little bit of personality, then it endears people to your bot. It helps them make a connection to your chatbot. I know that seems weird, doesn't it? Why would you form a connection to a chatbot? Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a reality show where people vote for a winner, or people are judged and there's a winner? Most of us have seen and participated in those types of things, right? Why do you care whether one person wins over another? It doesn't affect you. It will never affect you. If that guy wins $10,000 for making the best knife tonight, yes, I watched Forged in Fire. If that guy wins, it doesn't make a difference to me. He's not going to send me some cash. But I root for people. I vote for people sometimes. I really get into it because I'm bonded with those people. I like their personality. I like their approach. I like their choices. In a chatbot, people can see your personality, your approach to different things, your choices. It endears them to you and it makes them want to come back for more. Imagine that. Imagine marketing that makes people want to come back for more. That's what you've got in a chatbot. That's the thing. That's the factor. Also, and I would be amiss if I did not mention this, the fact that you can put GIFs, images, text, PDF files, and audio and video into a chatbot makes this a winner of a deal. No one has to leave the chatbot to access any of those things. Very important, because all of you out there, if you have ever done that thing called a funnel, you know that at every step in the funnel, you lose people because they have to click to something else, and then they have to fill out this thing, and then they have to click to something else, and then they have to go over here to access. Those 4 or 5 steps, you lose people at every time. Why? Because when you switch environments like that, when people are sort of interested, but they don't really know, but kind of interested, they're more likely to drop off because there's a context switch. There's an environment switch. They talk about this in like great big, user interface conversations, which I don't know. I don't know enough to be a part of those conversations. I know a little bit, enough to make me dangerous. But every time there's a context switch, there's a price to pay. You can keep them all in the bot for the whole thing. There's no price to pay. There's no drop off of people every single time. And if you're adding things like video and audio in there, people are bonding to you. People are saying, I like that person. Or just as much of a gift, they're saying, why is she wearing a cape? Way too quirky. I'm out. Which is fine, because if you're out at this stage, if you're getting to know me and my personality through my bot, and you go, oh, I'm out of here, it's a gift for me, because then I know that person is not somebody I want to spend a whole lot of time chasing or trying to get to know. They're not interested for whatever reason. There are people that absolutely love my personality. There are people who are absolutely turned off by it. I put that personality in the bot for a reason, because it helps me focus on the people who are very, very likely to do some business with me. I can identify them very, very easily in a chatbot by their responses, by the different paths that they go down, because I give them choices in my chatbot. This is called review. If I do it all the time. I know the different paths they go down. I know what's going on with them because I'm asking. I know all of these things. I put personality into the bot, and that allows people to get to know me and be drawn in or repelled or in the middle. And that is very, very helpful. Sometimes people do this in emails too. Sometimes, there are some things out there, some people I could probably name, one with, the F word in her title. But they put a lot of personality into their stuff. And that is great stuff too. It's just that I want you to put this personality into something that someone is going to read. Yes, you hear what I'm saying, don't you? The 90% open rate. They're going to read these messages. They might not read all the way through. Maybe a couple of them will get missed in their inbox, but they'll read these messages. It's so much more likely to get read if it's in a messenger bot. It's so much likely to be more likely to be clicked through if it's in a messenger bot. That's what we're talking about. Personality is a huge part of that. If you write an email and then you get into, if you're stepping into chatbots and you're like, well, this looks like it'll take a long time to build. What if I just copy that email, all the text in it, and put it into a chatbot bubble and send it out? I urge you, do not do this. Not only will it lack the things that we're talking about, personality, choice, and this other bad boy I'm going to get to in just a few minutes here. If you're putting a wall of text in your bot that is like similar to, if it can be seen from space, if it's like the Wall of China, people aren't going to read that either. Why is that? Let's dig into that for a second, because I think that you need to know. I think that this is very important. Why is it that people look at a wall of text and go, nope, out? It's not going to really take that long to read. Why are people so against reading those things? And why in particular, specifically, why do they hate it in chatbots? I'll tell you why. Who loves a lecture out there? I got to catch up on the comments here. Who loves a lecture out there? I don't. I don't. Woo. I used to love lectures in college because it meant I could space out for a while, think about what I wanted to, and then kind of come back and write some notes and then space out for a while. I can't pay attention that long. I need to move. I need to go discover things, figure stuff out for myself. I don't love being lectured at. And when I'm reading a huge wall of text where I don't have any choices, I don't have any chance to give any feedback. It's just I'm being railroaded right here, right now. Somebody else is driving this train and I'm just along for the ride. It's alienating. It's alienating. How do we get our marketing to be the opposite of alienating? Boop. It's the personality. Add some personality into your bot. Think about how do you want people to feel when they leave your bot after having an interaction with it? How do you want people to feel? It may not be all jokey and funny. It may be something completely different. But if you are focused on providing an experience for them instead of just herding them through a gate, then you will get how important this personality thing is. I'm going to flip over to the comments and see what you guys are saying. Am I freezing? Hopefully not. Well, I am cold, but hopefully I didn't freeze on you guys. Yeah, some bots need a cape and goggles. Some need blue hair. That's true. Yeah, keeping the content in the bot and not clicking out of it. We'll cover that on a future show. It's huge. It's huge. One-stop shopping, everybody. One-stop shopping. Why is it that, some bots will actually tell you, hey, go check your email. Really? You can't just give me that information right here? So that is, keep people in the bot. You will lose less people coming out of it. John says, just love your emphasis on creating a conversation. It's how DNA, RNA works, how spirals work in concert. Evolutionary, not revolutionary, because evolutionary has no limits, while revolutionary brings us back to where we started. So true, right? Stacy says, love the evolution versus revolution comparison. Excellent stuff. Because That's how relationships grow, right? Evolution. That's how we get connected to each other. I see somebody's comments on a live stream. I start to think about them. Maybe I'll connect with them later on. We have a little connection, then we maybe have a bigger one, and then we kind of start relying on each other. Eventually, if all goes well, that's how my clients and I work. They know that they can rely on me 24 hours a day. Well, I do sleep, but they know that they can rely on me and my team all the time, and that we'll be here for them, and that we'll do our very best to take care of them. How did that all come about? Evolutionary steps. It wasn't a one-time thing. It wasn't a, oh my God, I have to, it wasn't like that. It was like, let's build here, and let's take steps together to see if this is right for us. When your bot allows people to take those steps on their own time, it's an unshakable relationship. That's what you need, right? A lot of these folks, right, that deal with funnels and all these kinds of different things, they're disappointed when they can't retain people. I don't have any problems. I will tell you that. I don't have any problems retaining folks because I've allowed them to get to know me, and I know them. And because I know that even if I make a mistake or they do, it's not the end of the relationship. I know that if they go find a lower price somewhere, that they're not going to just, leap without thinking. I know that because we have a relationship. Anyway, so much into relationships there. I didn't mean to veer off into that, but you know me. This show is what made me work with you. You're so easy to learn from. Why, thank you, darling. I really appreciate that. Some just keep coming back over and over again, like Stacy Brayuga. I know you. Anyway, third element that you absolutely have to have, it's absolutely essential, according to me. This is the law according to RJ. But that is this one. And save the best for last. This is the one that is vitally, incredibly, crucially important. We've talked about it a little bit, but let me just fill you in. Feedback opportunities. Yes. Because a conversation is not me and you standing together and you talking to me for 40 minutes. It's not. A conversation, this is what we're designing right now. A conversation is a little bit from you and a little bit from me. It's push and pull. It's getting to know each other, seeing if we're right for each other, seeing if we need to take the conversation to a deeper place. That's what this stuff is about. That's what chatbots are about. And when you give people feedback opportunities, when you give them in these feedback opportunities in your bot, this is what it looks like. Hey, how you feeling today? Hey, notice you went to see my show today. Did you have a big takeaway from that? What was it? Hey, notice you haven't clicked into that class yet. You totally signed up for it. I just want to give you an opportunity. Do you have any questions for me right now? Is that what's stopping you from getting in there? Those are feedback opportunities. Here's what makes me giggle endlessly in the middle of the night, because these are things I think about. I think about how I used to do market research before bots. I think about going onto YouTube, finding somebody in a similar field who had written a book, and looking at the comments and going, okay, this is how people talk that want books on this particular subject. Maybe they'll want a program on it. So I'm going to start aiming my language this way, because of course you got to speak your client's language. You've got to speak your client's language. You got to address their needs. If you don't, you might be able to trick them into buying something, but they ain't going to stay around for long. So that's the way I used to do market research. Seriously, someone taught me how to do it that way, and I did it that way, and I thought it was going to be magnificent, and boop, it was not. In fact, I heard an awful lot of crickets, everybody. Heard an awful lot of crickets out of that marketing research routine. Here's what I do now. If I want to know what people are thinking, if I want to know how they describe their problems, I ask them a question in my chatbot. That's all I need to do, because people love to be asked about themselves. Have you ever stood at a networking thing or a party and you're maybe not feeling so great that day? Maybe it's the end of a real long day. You wish you could sit back and relax, but you kind of have to be here. And somebody asks you how you are, and you give them kind of a good answer, but then you really lean into asking how they are, because then you just, you're going to get to sit back and listen for about a half an hour. I've done this. I've used this technique. It's helpful when you're really super tired. Asking people how they are in a bot. They view it as a one-on-one conversation, which it is. It's not asking. That's not the same as asking people in a Facebook group, even if that Facebook group is secret. Even if you got all the privacy protections on there. It's still, when you ask a question in a Facebook group, you still have all of the other people in the Facebook group that could possibly see and judge that message. Who we are on Facebook is not who we are in real life. Everybody posts their best moments so that the people from high school can see that they're actually really cool people now. Not talking about anybody I know. I've heard this from friends. We present a different face on Facebook because we want a certain image out there. Most of us, I won't say all of us. That's fine. But when we're asking, especially coaches, my coach friends out there, if you're asking people questions that may paint them in a light that they maybe don't want to be seen in by the entire group, they won't give you an answer in a group, they'll answer you in a chatbot. They sure will. And that was one of the things that blew my mind first about chatbots, is that I was asking the very same questions I was asking in a group. Everybody was giving me feedback, honest, thoughtful feedback in my bot. Whoa. That's an amazing thing. I love that thing. I love that, because that's what I'm talking about when I say it's that people want to feel seen and heard. When you're asking them for feedback and that feedback starts to drum up a conversation, there's the magic. There's the magic. People feel seen and they feel heard. That might not turn into a transaction for you, by the way. A lot of the stuff that has come from my chatbot has been collaborations, JV partnerships, and transactions. A lot of stuff. There are 3 categories there. Those are the most important things that come from my bot. Those are the things that are making my business grow. A collaboration can make my business grow as much as 50 clients out of one collaboration. A JV partnership, same thing. Those things can be incredible. Those relationships can be incredibly valuable. Maybe not even today, maybe 6 months down the line. But I'll tell you, my chatbot keeps feeding my business. It's a gift that keeps on giving. And part of it is these feedback opportunities where I ask people how they're feeling, what they're doing, what kind of experience they're having right now, what's the day going like. Do they feel motivated right now? I ask my students that all the time because my students have some class material to get through. And we were all going through this. For those of you who don't know, I did a giveaway last week. And one of my giveaway was a chatbot template, the nice to meet you, or I called it the Autobot, your lead generation chatbot. But it was super fun. We all had a really great time. But now, people are kind of asking the questions, okay, I got this many more people that I can talk to. How am I going to talk to them in a way that's effective? And a lot of people that gave away, a class or something like that, which mine is technically a course, although I didn't call it that. You've got to help them get through that. Do you know how many people go through and sign up for something and let it collect digital dust in their hard drive? Many people is the answer to that question. You can use your chatbot to check in on them, to see how they're doing, to see if they have any questions. Do you have any major roadblocks that are stopping you from doing that right now? And if they tell you one, you can commiserate. You can help them find a way around that. You can schedule some time with them so that they can get through what they need to get through. Because honestly, I don't care how many people sign up for my giveaway or my course or buy my program. I care how many people get through it. Because when they get through it, you create raving fans. And raving fans are the most valuable marketing. They're even more valuable than chatbots, I will tell you that. Because they will shout your name from the rooftops for free because they love you. That's what we all want. We want those raving fans. I'm going to catch up on the comments here. Very good. Kathy, I need help. Cannot get my bot to work. Works in preview on ManyChat, but not on Facebook. Thanks. Kathy, I think you and I actually have an appointment here pretty soon, if I'm not mistaken. It actually, if that's you today, then today at 4:30, then I can certainly help you with that. Probably just a couple of boxes to check on that. Digital Loves. Hey, Nancy, good to see you. Great to hear from you. I'm glad you're here. RJ, I see a guitar resting on your wall. Pink Floyd, you know, a song from you would be great. You're taking down the wall in so many ways. We will consider this, John. We will make this happen. That is hilarious. I do play the guitar. I play when I am nervous about something or when I'm thinking about too many things at once and I need to calm down a little bit. I play. I know I've had a guitar of some kind since I was 16 years old. It's been a lot of years. Don't do the math. And I still know about 2 songs. I play for my own entertainment and possibly at some point for yours. Anyway, all in all, it's just a bot on the wall. Yes. Together, let us write a song. Let us write an anthem, if you will. And let us go out there and do our marketing differently. Let's make people stand up and go, what's she doing over there? Because clearly it's working. Let's do those things. The more people that we can have stand up and join this little movement, which soon to be a huge one, obviously, the more people we can have join, the less crappy marketing will be out there, the less herding people through a gate, the more seeing how people are feeling, seeing what they might really value, and serving them that value. Those are the 3 things according to me. I've been doing bots 2 years. I have sent tens of thousands of messages, and I can tell you that the most disengaging stuff out there is over and over again. Come to my webinar. Come to my webinar. No, really, are you interested in what I'm doing now? If you had a friend walk up to you and say that, you would be like, you would shut the door and hide under the couch like there were people trying to sell you something in the driveway. You would. And so that's the thing about Facebook Messenger, and that's the thing about chatbots. You're on a platform in which people expect friendliness and casualness. You are not on LinkedIn at this moment. You are not wearing a suit and tie right now. You are a human talking to other humans. Some of the messages are automated. You write them ahead of time. You define when and where they deliver. A lot of times you pick up those conversations into a live one-on-one chat. And most of my clients also drive that then to a half-hour phone call, strategy session, discovery call, whatever you want to call that thing, so that people can kind of, figure out where they are. I'm lucky that most of the people that get on my calls know what they want already, because they've already spent the time with me. It's not a cold pick up the phone and I'm scared you're going to try to sell me something. You already know I'm not going to do that. And you already know if you're interested most of the time. Doing that with chatbots is hands down a better approach than what I used before. I don't understand. Oh, Denise says, hey, Denise, how you doing? I don't understand how to confirm to Facebook the purpose of a chat. What box am I supposed to check? And I don't understand the 24-hour rule. God, no one does. So everybody, what Denise is talking about there is the rule that Facebook has recently enacted, that in order to do subscription messaging, you must apply for subscription messaging. That means that in order to send out a message to your audience, Facebook's just trying to make sure that you're not spammingly spammingly is now a word, spammingly promotionalizing, Grouponing people, hitting them over the head with, here's another thing for you to see that I'm doing. Why aren't you buying my stuff? They're making sure that people aren't sending out promotional stuff over and over and over again. Denise, I don't know if you've seen this, but I did a whole video walking people through step by step on what they need to say. Suggested thing to say, not what they need to say. That's a little too much. I talked about in this video, I kind of walked you through step by step. Do let me know if you've seen that or not. If you have not seen that, I will put the link in the comments on what you need to do step by step to get approved for subscription messaging. By the way, if you apply and you don't get approved, you keep applying until you get approved. I've been through this with several clients now, and that's the deal. The folks that they have deciding this stuff are, they are folks who sometimes they have little different criteria. They're humans, and so sometimes it's not necessarily always consistent, and it doesn't even necessarily always make sense. But you get that application through, get that applied for, and then you can send subscription messaging, and it's great stuff. So let me know if you've seen that video, Denise. If you have not, I will get it to you. Okay. Oh, it's beautiful not to wear a suit. Oh, I know, right? Well, you're looking at Goggle Woman. Okay. Let's see. We got some conversation going on. This makes my heart sing. I just love to see it. Yeah, considering walking my messages back, doing just a few times a week, not daily, probably a good idea. Unless people are really engaging, or unless people know, like if people are going to get messages every day, if I'm working on a chatbot and somebody's going to start a challenge in which they're shooting out messages every day, I tell people ahead of time, this week you're going to be getting messages every single day, just because it can be overwhelming, just like email is. I watched it. Will you link again and I'll rewatch? Is it something we have to check every time? You have to check all of the boxes. You have to confirm that you know things. You've got to fill out examples. You have to go through the entire process every time you submit. Luckily, it'll probably take you about 5 minutes. I think people only got my first message. That's no good. Denise, if you want, because I do offer people free half hour with me. If you will, boop, text bot to 555-888. If you do that, it'll give you a free bot strategy, and then it'll give you an opportunity to get on my calendar for half an hour. We can talk about why people aren't getting your messages. It may not be the submission. It may be something else. And that is, if that can be a toughie for me, I know. Anyway, and everybody else, text 558-5888. It's a free bot strategy, and you'll get reminders of these shows. Not a bad deal. Anyway, so I'm just gonna run over these 3 things again, because this is really, it's super important. Other people will tell you other things. This is just my opinion. But in my opinion, and here's what's happening out there in the world, chatbot messages right now have that open rate of 90%. Everybody will talk about that, because it makes people who are still only using email, it makes them die inside sometimes. Because a 90% open rate, that happened back in the early 90s when we had cell phones that were like this big. You know what I'm saying? 90% open rate on an email hadn't happened in a long time. For chatbots, it's at 90% right now. But let me tell you something. As people become more aware of this technology, as people get more into using this everywhere, it's going to become more common. As it becomes more common, though, that 90% open rate is going to come down a bit. It's going to hit 80, maybe 70, because people are going to get used to this, okay? And they're going to start filtering things out. How do you write messages that make you stand above everybody else? How do you write messages? How do you make connections in your chatbot that make it so that people smile when they see your stuff and they open it every time? Here are the 3 things you need. We've talked about them. Give people choices in your bot, my friends. Love it. If you're just starting to get your bot out there, that is totally fine. If you've just grabbed a hold of my template through the giveaway last week and you're like, where do I put choices in this? It's not necessarily something that you need like right absolutely now. But as you build that particular part of your bot out, as you add things, then you're going to want to add choices in there. Choices, number 1 thing. Number 2, add personality to your bot. Every single transmission your bot makes should have some personality in it. Yes, either your brand's personality or your personality if you are your brand. You need this thing. Trust me. If you come off as boring, people will not read your messages. It's, again, we are standing on the messenger platform. We are standing on chatbot platforms. These are informal. They often show off a person's personality. So do that for me, please. Well, do it for you. Don't do it for me. And final thing that you need are feedback opportunities. Ask people questions. Easiest way to think about this is if you were standing at a party somewhere and you were talking to somebody, how would the conversation go? It can't be all about you. No one will read that message. It can't be a lecture or a wall of tests. No one will read that message. It must be conversational. You got to have you in it, and you got to ask that other person some questions and involve them in the conversation somehow. You would do it if you were standing across from somebody. So do it in your bot. Teresa says, that's what I struggle with, connecting, building engagement. I feel like I'm either all consumption or ignored. Time to redo the bot. I can't tell you how many times I have redone certain sequences, repaired things. Like my bot is in a permanent state of DIY, and that is because I like to play. So don't feel bad about redoing. Just try out ideas. It's a perfect time to try ideas in chatbots, everyone. Why? Because they're super new. If you make a mistake, it's not that big of a deal. People aren't going to go, oh, why did you write that on that button? That is just so ridiculous. Whoa. If they do, they're probably not the right client for you anyway. You know what I'm saying. People aren't comparing necessarily. People are experiencing your stuff as you put it out. So don't be afraid of experimentation. Don't be afraid to change things. Do it in a bot. That's true. Anyway, that's really my show for today. I'm going to wrap it up a little bit. Got a show coming for you on Thursday as well, Thursday the 29th. Just me again, no interviews, but I'm going to be talking about some basic bot stuff for this next 2-3 weeks. The reason why is because we've got a whole bunch of new people with us. A whole bunch of people signed up for the bot during the giveaway last week, and I want to give everybody a chance to start out everything on the right foot, to start making these things happen. I know that we're all busy. I know that sometimes when we're looking at a list of free stuff, our heart rate goes up and we start to pick things, and maybe sometimes those things don't really even, aren't something that we do all the way through. But I'm aiming for people to get all the way through, installing their templates and getting to start to play with the chatbot in the wild, because that's what it's all about. So next few shows are going to be some basic stuff. And yeah, I'll tell you the title when I get there. You know me. Until I see you again, everybody, remember everybody has blinders on out there. And remember that you don't have to let your prospects have blinders on. You can break that wall down. See what I'm doing there? You got what I was doing there. You can break that wall down. If you use your chatbot correctly, you can make connections with all kinds of people, grow your community, increase your sales, get engagement. You can do all those things that you really have wanted to do with your marketing. One of your best shows ever. Really? You're gonna have to tell me why, because I don't know. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me. I just absolutely love you, and I will see you on Thursday, same bot time, same bot channel. And until I see you then, I will see you in a bot.